A storm rolls through, you find shingles in the yard and a stain creeping across the ceiling, and the very first thought is, will my insurance just buy me a new roof? The honest answer is yes and no, and everything rides on one word most homeowners never think to ask about. So before you pick up the phone and file, let's walk through exactly when a policy pays for a roof, when it quietly won't, and how to keep a valid claim from getting denied. The yes or no answer everyone wants doesn't actually exist, and here's why. Your policy isn't insuring your roof against getting old, it's insuring it against getting unlucky. A branch punched through the shingles in last night's wind. That's the kind of sudden accident it was built to pay for. But a roof that quietly gave out over 18 summers isn't an accident. It's a maintenance cost the insurer always expected you to carry. That one idea, a sudden event versus a slow decline, is the hinge the whole claim swings on. Almost every denial you'll ever hear about traces straight back to which side of it your damage landed on. Insurance people have a word for the covered stuff, a peril. It just means a specific, sudden thing that happened to your roof from the outside. Hail is a peril. The neighbor's oak coming down is a peril. 20 years of ultraviolet sun baking the shingles brittle is not, that's deterioration, and no standard policy in the country pays for it. Here's the part that catches people off guard. The exact same cracked, curling shingle can be storm damage or old age depending only on what caused it. The adjuster's entire job is to decide which, and when they rule where, the check doesn't shrink, it vanishes. Run your eyes down the left column first. Every one of those is something that happened in a single afternoon. Now the right column. Every one of those happened over years. That's really the whole table. Look hard at the hail row because it's the sneaky one. A sudden hailstorm that bruises the shingles is a claim, but the bald patches where granules simply washed off with age are not, and the two can sit inches apart on the very same roof. This is exactly where a homeowner and an adjuster end up staring at each other in disagreement. So before you file, be honest with yourself about which column your damage actually lives in. Picture two neighbors who take identical $15,000 roof damage in the same storm, both with a $1,000 deductible. The first has replacement cost coverage and walks away with $14,000. The second has actual cash value, and after the insurer subtracts $10,000 of that roof was old, the check comes to $4,000. Same storm, same damage, $10,000 apart, and the only difference is one word buried in the policy. That's why the type of coverage matters more than the size of the storm. A lot of people never find out there on actual cash value until the settlement letter lands, so go find out which one you carry before you ever need it. There's a wall a lot of homeowners hit right around the 15 to 20 year mark, and it's worth knowing about before you're standing at it. Once a roof passes roughly 20 years, most insurers won't just take your word that it's fine, they'll want it inspected before they'll cover it, and some won't write the policy at all. Others quietly switch an aging roof from replacement cost over to actual cash value, which, as we just saw, can gut the payout. And here's the trap that stings the most. This can happen at renewal. A roof you insured fully for years can silently drop to depreciated coverage right before the storm that finally takes it. If your roof is getting up there, call and ask, in plain words, exactly how yours is covered today. Walk this one in order because the sequence itself protects you. Notice step 1 comes before any cleanup. The photos you take in the first hour are the evidence you'll wish you had later, so shoot the roof, the attic, and every water stain before you touch a thing. Step 2. A tarp is fine and expected, but a brand new roof installed before the adjuster has even seen the damage is a great way to get your claim questioned. And look hard at step 4. Getting your own roofer's numbers before the insurance adjuster arrives is the single move that keeps a lowball offer honest, because now you're not negotiating blind. Miss step 3's deadline, though, and none of the rest of this will save you. A few unglamorous habits win more claims than any argument with an adjuster ever will. The clock is the big one. Insurers can and do deny perfectly valid damage simply because it was reported months late, so the day you spot the damage is the day you call. The best evidence, oddly, is a photo you took before anything went wrong. A clear shot of a healthy roof from last spring is what proves the damage is new, not something you let slide for years. Keep every receipt from that emergency tarp, because that's money the policy owes you back. And when the adjuster's estimate arrives, don't just glance at the total. The line items are where a skipped layer of decking or a shorted labor rate quietly hides. Denials aren't random, they cluster into the same handful of reasons, and every one of them is something you can see coming. Number one, by a mile, is the adjuster labeling your damage wear and tear. Sudden becomes gradual with a single word, and the check evaporates. Close behind is pre-existing damage. If there's any sign the problem was already there before the storm you're claiming, expect a fight. Then the boring killers, filing too late, or a roof so poorly kept that the insurer points at the neglect exclusion and closes the file. Notice that most of the top reasons are things you actually influence, which is the good news buried inside a scary-looking slide. Here's the number that ambushes people. Everyone knows their deductible, the flat $500 or $1,000 they cover before insurance kicks in. What they miss is that wind, hail, and hurricane damage often runs on a completely separate deductible, and it isn't a flat figure at all. It's a percentage of what the whole house is insured for. 5% on a $300,000 home isn't a token. It's $15,000 you pay before the insurer owes you a dime. And on an older roof already carrying depreciation, a percentage deductible can quietly swallow the entire payout. So find that number in your policy on a calm day, because right after a storm is a brutal time to learn it even exists. Not every bit of damage should become a claim, and this is where a little restraint saves you real money. If a repair runs $800 and your deductible is $1,000, filing is pure downside. You collect nothing and you've still used a claim. Because here's what a claim actually costs going forward. Your premium can climb somewhere around 7 to 20%. You can lose the discount you'd earned for staying claim-free, and the claim sits on a shared industry record called CLUE for roughly 5 to 7 years, even if it was denied and paid you zero. String a couple together, and the insurer can simply decline to renew you at all. Small, affordable damage is very often cheaper to just fix yourself and keep your record spotless. So carry these out with you. First, insurance is for what the sky did, not what time did if the roof simply wore out. That's a home maintenance bill, not a claim. Second, the two most important words in your policy aren't up on the roof at all. They're in the coverage type. Replacement cost keeps you whole, actual cash value does not. So know which you've got today, not on the day of the storm. Third, when a real storm does hit, the homeowner who documented early, filed on time, and brought their own estimate almost always walks away with the fairer settlement. And last, go check that wind and hail deductible right now, quietly, on a calm afternoon, so it never gets the chance to surprise you. This video is general education, not professional insurance, legal or financial advice, and your actual coverage, deductibles, and payout depend on the specific policy you hold and the state you live in. It was researched and produced with AI assistance, including script research, voice, and on-screen graphics, and reviewed by a human against the cited sources before publishing. Before you file anything, read your own policy's declarations page. Confirm whether your roof is insured at replacement cost or actual cash value. And if a claim is denied or underpaid, you can ask a licensed public adjuster or your state department of insurance for help.